erased.
The ocean doesn't sleep, it waits. The Arabian Sea is a black mirror stretched to infinity. No moon, no horizon, just water so dark it swallows the stars. Somewhere in that void drifts USNS Patoka, 40,000 tons of American machinery gliding like a phantom. No escorts, no lights. Only the steady pulse of diesel engines deep below deck, moving through silence thick enough to choke on. She looks defenseless, exposed, a floating vault of jet fuel, 10 million gallons of liquid fire waiting to be stolen. To any Somali warlord watching the radar, she's a dream, a slow-moving prize worth more than an empire. But Patoka isn't prey, she's the trap. 3 weeks earlier, an NSA satellite caught a flicker off the Horn of Africa. At first, it looked like heat haze. Then it multiplied. Infrared blooms in abandoned fishing villages. Convoys of Toyota Hiluxes crossing dunes under night vision. DSHK machine guns welded to skiffs. Radio bursts bouncing between coasts. It wasn't piracy anymore. It was a paramilitary fleet, 183 speedboats, over 800 men, funded through Yemeni smugglers and Sudanese crypto wallets. Their plan: surround the Patoka, board her, burn her live on satellite feed. An attack not just on a ship, but on the symbol of American invulnerability. Washington didn't hesitate. They didn't pull Patoka back. They sent her forward. A floating decoy, 38 nautical miles off Ras Hafun, precisely where the pirates would find her. A kill box drawn in digital ink, invisible on the waves but lethal in the sky. Everything inside that grid would die. Far below the surface, USS Texas, a Virginia-class submarine, ghosts through the depths, sonar off, weapons primed. 30 miles east, USS Porter and USS Preble drift behind radar silence, their decks gleaming faintly in red combat light. Overhead, the Reaper drone orbits at 12,000 meters, its thermal camera painting the coast in shades of heat and death. And from Djibouti, the rotors of two AH-64E Apaches begin to turn, slicing the African night with the sound of judgment. Above all of it, a network of satellites watches. Every movement, every signal, every heartbeat of the approaching enemy. The Pentagon doesn't see pirates. It sees coordinates, numbers to be erased. At 03:45 a.m., the first transmission crackles from the Somali shore, encrypted, frantic, full of hunger. By 03:50, the fleets are moving. 78 skiffs from Hobyo, 55 from Haradher, 50 from Mail, all armed, all silent. Their wakes glow faintly under starlight, white lines racing toward destiny. Inside Patoka, red lights bathe the bridge in soft glow. The crew moves like ghosts, no shouting, no fear, no hesitation. Every man and woman on board knows what the ship truly is, a 40,000-ton mousetrap made of fuel and faith in American firepower. From orbit, the Reaper's feed shows 3 clusters converging, 3 waves merging into one black storm. The system tags them automatically. Targets 183. Every dot a death sentence waiting for confirmation. At 04 UR AM, the command center aboard USS Preble blinks alive. No alarm, just one line on screen. All targets inside grid. Weapons hot. Patoka drifts still. The ocean hums. Somewhere beyond the horizon, men shout in a language the sky doesn't care about. They believe the hunt has begun, but it's already over. They just don't know it yet. Predators always think they're hunting, until they see the crosshairs. At 3:58 a.m., a single pixel on the radar flickers, then another, then 100 more. Tiny ghosts materialize on the USS Preble's screen, like raindrops gathering on glass. The swarm has entered the box. No alarms, no music. Just a soft digital ping and the quiet breath of men who've been waiting all night for this. Out in the dark, the sea begins to move. Engines awaken across the horizon. First a murmur, then a roar. The pirates fan out, hundreds of skiffs slicing through water like knives through silk. Their hulls painted black, lights off, bows loaded with RPGs and heavy guns. From above, the Reaper's camera captures it all. Infrared specks racing toward the center of the kill box. From that height, it doesn't look like men. It looks like a disease spreading across the water. The pirates believe Patoka is alone. They see no escorts, no threat. To them, she's a wounded beast waiting to die. They have no idea that beneath them, USS Texas is already awake. The submarine glides through black water like a moving shadow. Her crew speaks in hand signals. A single order flashes on the display. Fire two. Two Mk-48 torpedoes slide silently from their tubes. No sound, no light. They accelerate to 50 knots. Predators guided by memory. The first detonation comes from nowhere. The ocean lifts 7 boats into the air, snaps them like toys, and folds them into flame. The second blast follows half a heartbeat later, ripping through 9 more. The sea convulses, then falls silent again, except for the crackle of burning fuel. 16 boats gone before the others even notice. On the surface, chaos erupts. Engines stall, collide, commands overlap. The pirates scream, their voices vanishing under the roar of fire and metal. 30 miles east, the USS Porter adjusts bearing. Her deck guns swivel with mechanical grace, targeting clusters, not individuals. The command is silent, digital, surgical. 127-meter shells arc through the night sky. They don't hit hulls. They burst 10 meters above water, each explosion a storm of tungsten. 40 boats vanish in less than 20 seconds. Fiberglass turns to dust. Men turn to memory. Above it all, the Reaper hovers, still and patient, painting targets with laser precision. From the south, 2 Apaches break over the horizon, moving in low, invisible arcs. Their rotors are whispers, their payloads divine. Hellfire missiles scream from their wings, 16 bolts of light crossing the night. Each finds its mark. 16 columns of water rise, glowing orange beneath. When they fall, the surface burns. One of those strikes hits the command skiff. A single impact, then silence. The self-proclaimed warlord at the helm ceases to exist before his scream reaches air. The swarm begins to fracture. Without command, it's just noise. Some boats turn back toward the coast. Others circle aimlessly, colliding in panic. Through the Reaper's lens, the formation looks like ants scattering after a boot lands among them. Patoka remains motionless. No lights, no guns. Her captain watches through external cameras, calm as the dead. To her crew, this isn't war, it's mathematics. Each red dot on the screen becomes gray, neutralized, confirmed, gone. The pirates fire blind. Tracers arc through the smoke, green streaks vanishing into nothing. No shot reaches its mark. They don't understand that the sea itself is wired against them, that every move, every heat signature, every burst of radio static is already mapped, tagged, and doomed. From the east, USS Preble joins the chorus. Its vertical launch cells open like gills. Missiles roar upward, then tilt downward in smooth burning arcs. The explosions ripple across the surface, carving craters in the sea. To the watching drones, the ocean looks like it's boiling. The pirates keep fighting, not because they think they can win, but because it's all they know. Men standing on floating gasoline, shooting at ghosts. Every flash of gunfire becomes a beacon for the next strike. And then, silence. For a moment, the ocean seems empty. The smoke drifts low and heavy, glowing orange from the fire beneath. You can hear the crackle of fuel burning, the hiss of dying engines, the soft hum of Patoka's turbines untouched. From orbit, the Reaper's AI counts what's left. Dozens of boats remain, charred, scattered, directionless. The system marks them automatically, retreating, damaged, destroyed. Each one another equation solved. By 04:00 a.m., the swarm is broken. Half of it lies beneath the waves. The rest drifts toward the edges of the kill box, still believing there's an escape. But there isn't. Patoka floats at the center, haloed by smoke and light, an iron island in a sea of fire. She doesn't move. She doesn't need to. The trap has closed and the predators are still trying to understand how they became prey. The Reaper banks left, scanning the field. Its lens catches flashes of burning fuel, shattered metal, men clinging to debris that used to be power. Each frame is the same: chaos, heat, silence. The battle isn't done, but the outcome already is. When the sky turns white, mercy becomes a myth. 04:01 a.m. The horizon is gone. Smoke replaces it, thick, black, rolling like a living thing. The sea glows red underneath, reflecting flames from 1,000 burning hulls. The sound is everywhere. Engines dying, ammunition cooking off, the slow hiss of waves meeting fire. In the middle of it all, USNS Patoka floats untouched, a steel cathedral surrounded by apocalypse. Inside her bridge, red lights wash across glass screens. The crew watches in silence as the world outside tears itself apart. No cheers, no panic, just the low, constant hum of the ship's heart. Every image from the Reaper drone feeds into their monitors. Every explosion, every death, every movement mapped in perfect, mathematical clarity. Above them, the Reaper banks through the smoke, its thermal vision cutting through chaos. Dozens of white blurs scatter south, boats running for the edges of the kill box. They look small, helpless. Data points waiting for deletion. In a control room on USS Preble, an operator taps a screen. Targets locked. The missiles launch, ESSM Block 2, sea-skimming predators flying at Mach 4. They carve low arcs across the waves, invisible until impact. Then sudden daylight, air bursts shredding 14 retreating boats. No debris, just spray, flame, and silence. Patoka's CIWS wakes next. Its turret spins, sensors screaming alive, barrels glowing under red heat. 3 skiffs rush her hull, closing fast. They never touch her. The gun coughs, a single deafening roar that becomes music. 4,500 rounds per minute. 3 targets erased. What remains of them rains down in vapor. For a moment, the battlefield holds its breath. The pirates have stopped firing. The survivors drift aimlessly between walls of smoke. Some jump into the water. Others cling to half-burned planks, staring toward Patoka's distant silhouette. To them, she's not a ship anymore. She's a god that doesn't bleed. Then another spark. A desperate RPG arcs from a burning skiff, tracing a green tail through the smoke. It falls short, 200 meters, a final insult swallowed by the sea. A Reaper operator marks the launch. Coordinates flash on a monitor. An Apache tilts its nose, adjusts, and fires. One burst of the 30mm chain gun turns the ocean white. The skiff flips once, then vanishes beneath the waves. The rhythm of destruction resumes. From the east, USS Porter shifts fire again, tracking what remains of the cluster. She doesn't waste shells on single targets anymore. Each round lands with surgical indifference, detonating above groups like thunder falling in sequence. The blasts ripple outward, waves colliding, fragments raining down like metallic rain. 20 more boats gone. The Reaper feeds constant updates. The air smells of jet fuel and salt and carbon. Patoka's decks glisten in reflected light, flames mirrored on metal. In the command center of USS Texas, deep beneath the surface, torpedo tubes flood again. No sound leaves the hull, only vibration, a heartbeat in steel. Another launch, another invisible strike. The sea erupts anew. Every shock wave rolls outward like a drumbeat announcing the inevitable. By now the swarm is almost gone. Only fragments remain, 10, maybe 12 boats scattered along the edges of the kill box. The Reaper marks them with a final sweep. Red outlines glowing against black water. Their engines sputter. Their formation is gone. But instinct keeps them moving, as if motion itself can bargain with death. USS Preble fires one last volley. Explosions light up the sky, turning night into a shifting mosaic of white and orange. Through the Reaper's camera, the ocean looks like glass cracking under pressure. Lines of fire radiate outward, then fade into darkness again. Inside Patoka, the crew can feel the concussion through the floor, gentle, rhythmic, like the pulse of a sleeping giant. Reyes stands at the window. The reflection of the inferno outside turns her face into something sculpted from iron and flame. She doesn't move. She doesn't need to. By 04:10 a.m., the battle has lost its shape. There is no formation, no plan, no enemy. Only fragments of men and metal drifting among pillars of smoke. Somewhere far below, The sub-currents carry blood and oil into the deep. The Reaper circles higher, widening its lens. From above, the scene is abstract. An ocean painted in orange and black, dotted with pockets of fire. In the center, one untouched ship glides forward, unbothered, steady, divine. On the data feed, the numbers stabilize. Targets remaining, 10. Confirmed kills, 173. 10 left. 10 engines still alive, running north, screaming for shore. But there is nowhere left to go. The kill box has done its work. Now the firestorm will finish it. Desperation is just the echo of defeat. 04:06 a.m. The sea has stopped moving. No waves, no wind, just the low hiss of things still burning. Where there was once an armada, now there are only 10 specks drifting toward the black line of the Somali coast. They move in silence. No formation, no coordination, just instinct. The kind that makes dying men row toward the dark because standing still feels worse. In one of the surviving boats, a man called Scorpion grips the throttle. His face is covered in ash, his eyes wide and shining with a mixture of rage and disbelief. The commander he followed, Black Lion, is gone, erased mid-sentence. The men around him look to him for orders, but there's nothing left to command. Only one thought cuts through the static in his skull. If we can't win, we can burn. 6 boats throttle up at once, engines screaming. They form a crude wedge and aim straight for Patoka's silhouette on the horizon, a fortress floating on firelight. Each hull carries fuel drums and loose ammunition. The pirates aren't attacking now. They're detonating themselves. Patoka's sensors catch the movement. The Reaper relays coordinates. From above, the suicidal charge looks almost beautiful. 6 streaks of white foam racing through a field of burning wreckage. The Americans don't panic. They don't even speak. Steam defense systems engage. Valves open along Patoka's hull, venting pressurized vapor into the night. The hiss is deafening. White clouds roll across the water, boiling hot, blinding the oncoming boats. The first skiff disappears into it and never comes out. The second collides with the third. Impact ignites the fuel drums. An orange flash, then nothing but fragments. 2 more boats break formation and spin away, engines coughing. The last one keeps coming, fire licking its sides, its pilot already dead, but his hands still locked on the throttle. The Apache finds him first. One Hellfire missile leaves the rail, glides through smoke, and meets the boat mid-sprint. A pulse of white light, a sound like the sky inhaling, then only mist. Patoka rocks gently from the shockwave but doesn't break. Her triple hull swallows the vibration like a heartbeat. Inside, the crew barely notices. The hum of machinery drowns everything else. Rhea stands by the viewport, her reflection washed in red. Outside, the firestorm paints the sea into a single living wound. Down below, the USS Texas begins to rise. The ocean bulges around her as she surfaces, dripping black water like oil from a blade. Her periscope retracts. Her deck guns lift toward the horizon. 4 skiffs remain, running north, desperate, alive only because death hasn't reloaded yet. Texas fires, 3 flashes, 3 hits. The shells travel faster than sound, and by the time the echoes reach the ships above, 3 targets are already gone. The 4th boat slows, turns in a wide circle, and raises a makeshift flag, a torn t-shirt waving in the glare of burning water. It drifts helplessly, surrendering to a sky that doesn't answer. The rotor thunder arrives before the light. A MH-60 helicopter swoops in low, its searchlight carving through the smoke. Seals drop into the water. Black silhouettes, smooth and efficient. They move without words, cutting across the waves like hunters in slow motion. The captured skiff is boarded in seconds. Zip ties click shut. Hoods go on. A camera is retrieved from one of the corpses, still blinking red. Inside, the final recording shows the dead commander shouting his prophecy. America will bleed tonight. The feed ends in static. The file is marked and uploaded. No one laughs. No one needs to. High above, the Reaper changes focus. Beyond the flicker of dying fires, new heat blooms appear inland. Steady, massive, rhythmic. Not boats, buildings. a network of fuel depots and warehouses stretching across the Barawa coastline. Hundreds of armed men regrouping around generators and half-sunk docks. The pirates' base, their nest, their last illusion of safety. The information flows upward through encrypted channels, crossing from drone to destroyer to Pentagon screen. Within seconds, orders return. No hesitation. New coordinates flash across every American monitor. Operation continues ashore. USS Laboon adjusts course. Her hull creaks as she turns toward the coast. The red lights on her deck shift to combat white. A chorus of mechanical arms loads the next rounds. Precision shells waiting for permission to sing. In the hangar bay, two Chinooks stand ready, rotors beginning to spin. 180 SEALs in full gear sit inside, checking rifles, locking helmets, faces hidden behind night vision. The heat from the engines paints them in ghostly green, like phantoms born from light. On the horizon, the Barawa coastline glows faintly through haze, an ember waiting for wind. That wind is coming. Patoka's mission is done, her trap complete. Now she watches as her hunters prepare to finish the story she started. The sky begins to tremble under the rising rotors. The sea below mirrors the vibration. Every sensor, every weapon, every satellite points to land. The counterattack is over. The strike is next. 04:17 a.m. The horizon turns white again. When the Empire breathes out, continents tremble. 04:18 a.m. The Somali coastline glows under infrared like a fevered wound. Rows of docks stretch into black water, fuel drums stacked like dominoes waiting to fall. At the center lies Barawa Base, half port, half fortress, all arrogance. Once it was the beating heart of the pirate fleet. Now it is a coordinate on an American map. USS Laboon locks targets. Her deck lights turn from white to red. Crewmen move with machine precision, silent amid the thunder of the sea. The first shell leaves the barrel with the weight of a promise, a streak through darkness. Then, impact. The docks vanish in a column of fire. Wood, steel, and bodies lift skyward in perfect symmetry. A heartbeat later, the second round hits the fuel depot. The explosion blooms outward, devouring the coastline in light. Flames rise hundreds of meters high, visible from orbit. Every building within 2 city blocks ignites at once. The base screams. Apaches descend through the smoke, cutting across the coast like blades through fabric. Their cannon fire is steady, unhurried, 30 millimeters of judgment raining down in ribbons. Machine gun nests dissolve into dust. Vehicles detonate before their engines start. Hellfire missiles punch through warehouses, turning concrete into shrapnel. Each explosion feeds the next, a chain reaction turning industry into inferno. The pirates scatter in every direction. Some try to fight, shadows firing at ghosts in the sky. Others run toward the jungle, dragging wounded comrades who vanish before they make the tree line. Infrared marks them all. There is no darkness deep enough to hide. Then come the Chinooks. Twin rotors thunder overhead, tearing the smoke apart. Their silhouettes shimmer against the rising fire, huge and graceful, like mechanical angels descending into hell. From their bellies, the SEALs emerge. 180 figures in matte black, sliding down ropes, boots striking earth with soundless precision. Night vision lenses flare green. No words, no shouts, only the whisper of rifles being readied. They move in teams. Alpha breaches the armories, charges placed on locked steel doors. Bravo spreads through the docks, cutting power lines and torching fuel drums. Charlie takes the high ground, lasers sweeping for movement. The rhythm is clinical. Mark, clear, ignite, move. Every corridor of Barawa becomes a tunnel of flame. Bullets ricochet, shells detonate. Amid it all, the SEALs keep advancing, green eyes behind black masks, bathed in the glow of burning oil. In a corner of the compound, a group of pirates tries to regroup, waving a torn flag, shouting words that vanish under rotor thunder. A sniper's scope finds the leader. One pull, one flash. The man folds where he stands. The flag falls into the fire. The remaining fighters drop their weapons. Hands rise, faces streaked with soot and terror. They kneel in the dust as the base collapses around them. Behind them, the fuel reserves ignite. White fire rolls through the compound, followed by a wall of pressure that flattens everything still standing. Inside the armory, Team Alpha's timers hit 0. 6 C4 charges blink once, twice, then the world splits open. A roar louder than thunder, longer than breath. The ground lifts. Warehouses implode, tearing free of their foundations. The shock wave races across the docks, turning flames into liquid motion. A mushroom cloud rises, black at the base, gold at the crown, reaching 1,000 feet into the sky. From the ships offshore, it looks like the end of a world. For Barawa, it is. By 05:20 a.m., the battle is over. Apaches hover low, sweeping the ruins for heat. Everything glows red, then cools. The Chinooks circle back, lowering to pick up the SEAL teams. The ocean wind carries the scent of salt, diesel, and extinction. USS Laboon fires one final round, its trajectory perfect, its purpose absolute. The shell dives straight into the buried command bunker. There is no second explosion, only a bloom of dust and smoke where command once was. Silence replaces strategy. 600 pirates dead. 183 boats destroyed. No American casualties. The sea is quiet again, obedient. The Reaper hovers high above, recording everything. The shape of victory, the color of dominance, the geometry of destruction. Each image will become data. Each data point, a future training scenario. War reduced to math, death turned into proof of efficiency. Epilogue, dawn of dominance. The sun rises only for the victors. 05:45 a.m. The sky opens. Smoke stretches thin, curling upward into soft clouds. The sea below gleams gold and red, painted by fire and dawn. What was chaos is now order again. What was noise is now silence. USNS Patoka cuts east through calm water, her engines steady, her hull untouched. Behind her, the horizon still glows faintly with the last breath of Barawa. Ash drifts across the waves like black snow, falling gently into the wake of a ship that never stopped moving. On deck, the crew stands quietly, faces blank, eyes fixed on the line where ocean meets sky. They don't cheer. They don't speak. They just watch the light spread over the world they've taken back. Every color feels earned. From 1,000 feet above, the Reaper climbs higher, turning its camera toward the sunrise. Its memory banks full, coordinates, footage, statistics. Somewhere across the ocean, those numbers travel through fiber lines to Pentagon screens. A report compiles itself automatically. 183 boats, 17 minutes, 0 casualties. Mission complete. The file saves. The signal closes. The feed dies. History updates by one line. Patoka keeps steaming east, her flag unfurled, catching the first wind of morning. Red, white, and blue ripple against gold light, unscarred, unburned. The same flag that lured the enemy out now marks the horizon of dominance. The sun climbs higher, the smoke dissolves, the sound of engines fades into distance. Somewhere, in the endless water between continents, silence finally wins. And in that silence, one truth echoes. The ocean remembers only one flag,